Hey, welcome back to Virtue's Last Reward. When we last left off, we met a to be continued sign again. So this time, we're just gonna ignore it for now and continue down here. And I think after we're done this part, I will read some gold files, maybe talk about my flowchart. Yeah, I honestly don't know what's happening on that front anymore, but I might not actually have a full-fledged flowchart thing anymore. But I feel like I've noticed a few interesting things while editing the videos, so I'll be talking about those, but not right now. Let's go ahead and finish up this horrifying part, and then we will see what happens. This is the part where we betray Luna after she's like, "Oh, Sigma, you're not gonna betray me, right? Because you've been so nice this whole time." And we actually go and betray her. To be frank, I don't really want to see what happens here. But we gotta, for the sake of completion. We have to see it. I'm really sorry, Luna, but it's something that's gotta be done. Oh my god. This is so bad. This is so bad. Okay. Now this is how after we were talking to Luna about how, oh, you know, it doesn't make sense for us to betray anyway because we won't get a 9, just the 8.
アンビデックスゲーム第2ラウンドの結果を発表します。一度画面にご注目ください。
It'll be interesting to see how the dynamics of everything changes here. My god. Oh my god. That's messed up.
結果は以上のように確定しました。各自バングルの数字をご確認ください。
Wait. Did it change?
どうして
Am I still with Phi? I couldn't really see from that quick flash just now, but oh my god, okay.
約束したじゃないですか。それなのに。
See, this is interesting because Sigma is his own person, but because of the nature of trying to complete the flowchart, he has to do these things that are not, they kind of force him to not have a defined personality. Because if he's a good guy, then there are some choices that he'll just never make. But that's not the case here.
なんで黙ってるんですか？言い訳ぐらいしてくださいよ。みんなを守るためだったとか、うっかり手が滑っただけだとか。
Oh, she's so willing to believe me, but I can't say anything because I can't lie to her. I guess that shows Sigma's personality a little bit too.
なんでもいいんです。見薄いた嘘のような言い訳でも。そうじゃないと私、もう、シグマさんのことを。そうですか。
Oh, and this is not the first time that we'll be having to betray Luna, because we have to go back to the very first round where we start off by betraying Luna, agreeing with Phi.
わかりました。シグマさんは少しでも PP を Q に近づけたかったから裏切りを選んだんですね。
I wanted to say no, but I couldn't. She was right. I shut my eyes and turned away.
シグマさん、信じてたのに。失礼します。
Luna's face twisted as she spun away, but not before I saw tears glistening in the corners of her eyes. My heart sank into my stomach like a lump of lead. I'd lost something very precious. Like they say, trust takes years to build, but only a second to break. If only I could have taken that second back, but that was impossible. Life only moves in one direction, and you only get to make your choices once. I'm feeling called out right now. This might be something that we need to start getting used to too, because we're going to be allying and betraying with a lot of people, and sometimes we'll be able to trust these people because we've built up a good relationship with them. But other times, that's not the case. The past is the past, and it stays there.
Chotto! Doko iku no yo?
決まっておろうが、クオークを探しに行くんじゃよ。
待ちなさいよ!
Clover yelled after him, but Tenmyoji ignored her and continued toward the magenta door. She glared at his receding back and muttered something under her breath. Yeah, this is something we need to remember too. Tenmyoji told something to Clover that made Clover ally with him, but Tenmyoji betrayed her anyway. Something must have happened between them. Ah, okay, so we don't actually get to find out here because we were talking with Luna. Ah, and if we allied with Luna, nothing really. There's not an argument there, so we get to hear what Clover and Tenmyoji were talking about. I see.
天明寺さん、クオークくんを探しに行くんですよね。
おう、そうじゃが。
私もお手伝いします。
She just wants to get out of here.
断る。と言いたいところじゃが、今は何よりも人手が必要じゃ。手を貸してくれるか？
もちろんです。さあ、行きましょう。
They headed off through the magenta door together. So last time, Kei and Luna were together. But then they split up. So we'll see what happens this time. Clover was left standing by herself, brows furrowed and head down, deep in thought. Then suddenly, she stood straight and took off through the cyan door. I turned and saw that only Fi and Kei were left. Where's Dio?
シグマさんとルナさんが話している間に黄色の扉から
What do Kei and Fi think of me? He just walked out?
ええゲームの結果だけは確認したようですが
That's suspicious. I bet he wasn't very happy. Yeah, well, I mean, general increases. Everybody should be happy about that, but nope, Dio wants to get out right away. Now we have an 8 too. If Fi had chosen Betray, he'd be sitting pretty with 9 BP right now.
そうですねしかしファイさんがそんな愚かな行為をするはずがありませんですから私は迷わず協力を選んだのです
But if you'd betrayed her, then you'd have been able to get out of here.
約束しましたからファイさんと
Promise. Huh. Don't talk about that in front of me. Were you really sure Kei wouldn't betray you?
もちろん思わなかったと言えば嘘になるだが私には協力を選ぶ以外に手はなかったんだあとは K を信じるしか
That's so.
そうだ大事なことだろう人を信じるっていうのは
Oh my god, you guys are like teaming up on me.
さあ私たちもクオークを探しに行こう
Yet, they make no direct comment on what I did.
そうですねでは別れて捜索することにしましょう
We did say, and each one of us left for a different area of the facility. I took the magenta door. Fi went to the yellow door. And Kei took the cyan door. So I'm back to the lounge again. pantry. Oh my god, just looking at the wall, I can tell this room is gonna be crap. And of course, we're not gonna make any progress finding Quark, because we never do. Except for that one time. But no matter how hard I looked, Quark was nowhere to be found. Eventually, I decided to head back to the warehouse. Oh! What? Tenmyoji? What's going on? You found Quark?
見つからなかったらここにはおらんわい。
Where was he?
そんなものお前さんに教えてやる義理はないわ。
Treatment center? What? Did I do something wrong? Maybe he thinks I harmed Quark.
お前さんはルナとの約束を破り裏切りに投票した。
Shit.
そういう男は気に食わんのじゃよ。
There was no rebuttal for that. Well, I'm glad you found him.
心配などしていなかったくせによく言うわ。
Not. He has 9 BP. Is he okay? He looks tired.
眠ってるだけじゃよ。何者かに麻酔薬のようなものを打たれたらしい。
Anesthetic. Can I take that to be fact, or is that just what Tenmyoji is guessing? Someone? Who?
知らん。今となっては興味もない。
Wait. If you inject an anesthetic, would that be by using an injection gun? Sounds like it. Why not?
クオークはこうして無事に見つかったんじゃ。あとはこの施設から脱出すれば万事解決する。
Wow, I honestly didn't expect this to change from last time just because I didn't think the points mattered between me and Luna. But evidently, this is super different. Whatever changed between this and the last playthrough made it so that Tenmyoji could actually find Quark. Wait. You make it sound like you can get out right now.
そうじゃ。
How?
結果発表を見なかったのか？クオークの現在の BP は
9.
そういうことじゃ。
So you're gonna have him pull the lever and open the number 9 door?
ああ。じゃがこの通りクオークは意識を失っておるからわしの介助が必要になるかな。
But what about you? You've only got 4 BP. Even if you can get the door open, you'll...
もしかしたら君たちのうちの誰かはこう考えるかもしれない。なんだ。だったら自分の BP が8以下だったとしても9以上の誰かが扉を開いてる間に素早くその向こう側へと駆け込めばいいじゃないか。でもそれはできないんださ。なぜならそんなことをしたらその人は
Well, we know that Tenmyoji doesn't care about himself.
知っておるわ、そんなことぐらい。じゃがわしはクオークさえ助かればそれで。
And we should remember that Tenmyoji supposedly voluntarily brought Quark here, which is super weird. I don't know what they were told. I don't know why they came, but the fact that he would want to.
それだけで構わんのじゃ。
My guard was down. I barely even saw him move. It wasn't until pain exploded in my stomach that I realized Tenmyoji had kicked me. Wow, that's uncalled for. I let out a strange sort of wheeze and collapsed to the floor. Blinking against the pain, I managed to find Tenmyoji again. He had maneuvered Quark up to the number 9 door. Stop! Tenmyoji! Moving made me retch, and before I could recover and call out again, he'd done it. Tenmyoji's hand pressed quartz against the lever. He looked back at me over his shoulder. This guy really loves Quark. Willing to doom yourself to an eternity of nothingness in here to save
すまんなシグマ
him.
まだ扉は開ききってはおらんが失礼させてもらうぞ
Tenmyoji, don't be an idiot. If you go through there, you'll... Oh, I thought you were just gonna throw him out there. You're actually gonna go through too. Well, dying might be a better fate than staying in here for all of eternity, depending on who you are.
じゃから知っておると言っておろうがじゃがわしはどうしてもこいつのそばにいてやらねばならんのじゃよ
That's so messed up though, because if you're trying to carry him out and then you die, so when Quark comes back to consciousness, the first thing he'll see is your corpse.
眠ってるこいつをゲートの向こうへと放り込んではいさようならというわけにはいかんからな
Then stay here.
それもできん
Why not?
この施設の中には殺人鬼がおるからじゃクオークをこんな危険な場所に留めておくわけには
So both Tenmyoji and Kei have made that comment so far. I don't want to stay here because there's a
9の
killer.
扉が開放されました
Which, it automatically makes me think that they're not the killers, but if they were the killer, they would say that too. Would the killer want to leave though? Maybe not. So maybe from now on, maybe we want to pay attention to people who have a 9 but choose not to open the door right away.
9の扉閉鎖まで残り9秒です
ではな
Tenmyoji! Wait! Don't do this! Tenmyoji! Tenmyoji! And there he goes.
9の扉を閉鎖しました。これにてノナリーゲームは終了となります。お疲れ様でした。なお、ゲームの終了に伴い、施設内にある9の扉以外のすべての扉は開放されます。
Oh. Hey, actually, doesn't that mean that we can go and look at a lot of things? I mean, not that it's important anymore, but if I'm gonna die, I want to know what I died to.
どうぞごゆっくりとお過ごしください。
Speaking of dying, I'm a little bit surprised that I haven't died so far.
残りの余生をこの施設の中で。
That was how it ended. Had Tenmyoji died? Had Quark escaped? I didn't know. I laid my hand gently against my aching stomach and stared up at the ceiling. Faint approaching footsteps echoed through the warehouse. One of them was a killer. Whatever. It didn't matter anymore. I was never going to see the outside world again. Perhaps it would be better if I just let them kill me. I lay back and closed my eyes. And that's it. I'm actually kind of glad that that was short, because I don't know how much I would be able to bear it if, everybody hated me because I betrayed somebody. Well, I didn't have to bear with it for that long because it was the last round, like the third AB round. But if it wasn't... oh my god. Well, okay, so maybe I should take this time to read some gold files then. I have been checking the comments and people have been making a list of gold files that I shouldn't read. So let me see if I can pull that up. Okay, so let me just see if I actually have any of the files that I've been told not to read first, because that'll be easier for me to determine. We don't have that many pages right now, do we? Nope. Don't read knife. Don't read principle of causality. Okay. And that's it. So everything else that we should be avoiding, we haven't even gotten yet. No need to worry about it. Let's start with page 1. AB room. This is where we'll play the AB game. It appears to be an elevator car. It appears to be an elevator car. There are 6 AB rooms in the warehouse on floor A. From the left, they're referred to as first, second, third. The interior of each room is identical to the others, with a voting device on the wall and a hatch in the ceiling. Okay. Oh, so if we can actually just go to the next one like that. We should be a little bit careful then. I'll return every time so that we don't accidentally go to things we don't want to go to. AB gate. Yeah, I'm not going to read every single word, especially if it's concepts that we are familiar with already. But I do think that going through all of this is going to hopefully strengthen my understanding of the rules, because seriously, there are so many rules to remember, I can hardly remember all of them. AB gate, the door of the AB room. Most elevator doors open horizontally, but this one opens and closes vertically. Oh wow, I didn't know that. Most elevators also have a safety feature, but not these ones. Okay, so we should be careful not to get squished in the middle then. Bracelet. Each person has a bracelet. If the person breaks the rules or fails to fulfill certain conditions, then the bracelet will inject them with 2 chemicals in succession. Huh. They're very particular about that wording, so I wonder if it's possible for only one chemical to be injected, but not the other one. Oh, I've been thinking about this though. There are only 2 situations which will cause a bracelet to come off. Number 1, the person wearing it completes the game and escapes. Number 2, the heart of the person wearing it stops beating. Attempting to break the bracelet or attempting to force it off will be considered a violation of the rules. Yeah, so if we think about Quark again, he obviously didn't escape when we found him in the treatment pod. So now I'm wondering if he took some sort of drug that made his heart stop beating. I remember when we were playing 999, I made a comment about how the wording of this was pretty particular. It doesn't say the person dying. It says if the heart stops beating. So if you have some sort of drug that slows down your heart rate to 0 temporarily, I don't know if such a thing exists, but definitely feels like it's possible, so I wouldn't rule it out at all. I'm guessing this is what happened to Quark then, because if it's not one of these 2, that means that there's some other rule that we don't know about, which shouldn't be as likely. Yeah, I remember thinking that Ace was doing this in 999, but you know, after 999, I just completely forgot about it. But now I feel like I'm pretty convinced that that's what happened to Quark. AI. Short for artificial insemination. Oh, what the? Which is a process by which eggs are fertilized without the use of a male organ. It is commonly used in the breeding of dairy cattle and pigs, but has also been... Oh, I'm being told that in this case, AI stands for artificial intelligence, which is another thing entirely. Who wrote this? Have a nice. Word 0 the third will say before he leaves. Have a nice trick, have a nice trap, have a nice traitor. There's a traitor among us. Quantum computer. A device built by Tom Kwan, a Boise, Idaho commuter. That's actually a lie. A quantum computer is a highly advanced machine that uses quantum phenomena, such as superposition and entanglement, to perform calculations. Let's say, for example, that you want to determine the prime factors of 5,183. A von Neumann-style computer, let's call him Paul, would say, can I divide it by 2, 3, 5? And just run through the numbers like that until it got the answer. Mr. Kwan, on the other hand, the computer, not the imaginary commuter. Oh! Tom Kwan, as in, if you flip it so that it's a last name, first name order, it's Quantum. Okay. Would just look at 5183 and say, obviously, it's 71 times 73. A traditional computer with n bits can only be in one of 2 to the n states at once. But a quantum computer with n qubits can be in up to 2 to the n states simultaneously. This means a quantum computer can complete calculations that are currently impossible. That's amazing, Mr. Kwan! Are you seeing anybody? Okay, so in layman's terms, quantum computers can do stuff much faster because they do it simultaneously. Okay, got it. Floor A graffiti. Someone has written 2 milkmen go comedy on the wall in the warehouse on floor A. Presumably, it refers to a pair of milkmen visiting a comedy club. The sentence construction, however, is obviously wrong. There must be a reason why. Oh, is this beyond the anagram thing? I don't know. I don't think so. 2 milkmen go comedy. Are there even any milkmen in existence anymore these days? That's a pretty old concept. What is the Nonary Game? A deadly game that 9 people have been forced to play. The official name is Nonary Game Ambidex Edition. Participants must also play the AB game. Nonary Game rules. What is the purpose of the Nonary Game? To escape by walking through the door marked with the number 9. How do you open the door 9? You have to earn 9 BP. How do you earn BP? Go to the AB room and play the AB game. How do you enter the AB room? Next to the AB gate is a card reader. Just slide the designated card key into it, and the door will open. Where are these card keys? Behind the CDs. Very quick recap of all the rules. There's lots of little bits here. Supplementary rules. Once you've opened a door, you can hop through it as much as you like. The CDs are like that too. Once you open them, even I cannot keep you from going in and out of them. Any color of bracelet can go through them, and as many people as you like. But. You have to escape before you can take advantage of this free reign rule. Once you've activated a CD and gone through it to the puzzle beyond, it won't let you go back until you've solved the puzzle. I wonder if that's actually going to come into play. Who is going to get into a room and not solve it? They can't come out before they solve it, can they? Oh, actually, I don't know if you can go back that much. Pair solo. Each bracelet will say solo or pair. Each color has 3 bracelets, 1 solo, 2 pairs. The 2 people who have the same color pair have the same fate and must vote together as one. BP. Bracelet points. If your BP is greater than 9, you can open the 9 door and escape. If your BP is below 0, then the needles will activate. The 2 drugs will come out. 9 door. A door in the warehouse floor A. Anyone with 9 or more BP can open the door and escape the Nonary Game. So in a sense, this door could be considered the ultimate goal of the participants. Once the number 9 door closes after someone with 9 BP has opened it, there's no way to open it again. The 9 door cannot stay open for more than 9 seconds. Oh, this is not strictly correct, however. The time period 0 to 3rd is referring to is the time when the door is fully open. That means if one takes into account the time when the door is opening and when it's closing, it's open for somewhat more than 9 seconds. Good to know. I wonder if the 9 seconds even matters that much in this scenario though, because you either have 9 BP or you don't. So it's not really a matter of trying to rush to the door or not. Total lunar eclipse. When the sun, earth, and moon align in such a way that the moon is completely within the earth's shadow. This causes the moon to appear reddish-brown in color, as light from the sun passes through Earth's atmosphere and reflects off the moon's surface. Incidentally, the game refers to a lunar eclipse on New Year's Eve in 2028, which is, or rather will be, an actual event. New Year's Eve. I guess this has something to do with when we got kidnapped and stuff, although whether the eclipse itself is of relevance, I don't know. Golem. The golem is an anthropomorphic creature from Jewish folklore. Golems are made from clay and will obey any orders given to them by their creators without question, although they tend to take instructions very literally. A golem is created by performing a holy ritual, then kneading the clay into the shape of a person, chanting a spell, and writing the Hebrew word emet, truth, on the golem's forehead. Erasing the E changes the word to met. Oh? Which is Hebrew for death. Doing this deactivates the golem. Erasing the E change... Erasing the E? Wow, that almost feels like it might be relevant for the graffiti on the second floor. Floor B. One of the golems found in the Nonary Game facility, GOLM, he is discovered lying on the maintenance table in the Golem Bay. His product ID is GTMCMGOLM. He asked to be referred to by the last bit, which is of course Golem. On a side note, it actually stands for Golem Type Male Cockney Model Number Golem. So one thing I want to remember about this guy is that the first time we went into Golem Bay with Kay, he wasn't there. Later, when we came back with Luna and Alice, I shouldn't say later, I should say in another time, he died. He got fried up because he said too much. But the other time, he was just completely gone. So that's really suspicious. He might be, I don't know, maybe you could consider him the 9th or the 10th person wandering around. The Chinese Room is a thought experiment by American philosopher John Searle to contest some of the ideas about AI. The general idea is to pose the question, do intelligent responses indicate actual understanding? Searle contests that a computer could be programmed to respond intelligently in conversation with humans, so much so that it would seem to be human itself, but that it would not necessarily, or perhaps could not actually understand what it was saying. Of course, this raises the question, how can we know that human minds are not in essence Chinese rooms? Can we really say that we understand the things we say? Or are we just simulating understanding? I am putting 1 BP on somebody here being a robot, okay? 1 BP. The Turing test is designed to gauge a computer's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior, developed by Alan Turing. The test has 3 participants, a human judge, a human subject, and a machine. The judge engages in conversation with the human and the machine, and if the judge cannot determine who is the machine and who is the human, the machine is considered to have passed the Turing test. When Fi mentions that perhaps she and her companions have been captured to perform a test, she is referring to the Turing test. I don't think any type of AI has reliably and meaningfully passed the Turing test in real life yet, as of 2017. Supplementary AB rules. Not voting is not an option. If both parties refuse to vote, then everybody gets penalized. Golem? General Purpose Autonomous Labor Electronic Machine. Developed and sold by an American corporation named Hephaestus Systems. Oh. Some of the units in this facility, however, have had their software significantly enhanced by Zero Senior. A portion of them have also been given ABT, Artificial Biological Tissue, by Zero Senior. Artificial Biological Tissue. I'm putting 2 BP on this. Somebody here is a robot, goddammit. Golem story, the point. The point of his story is that the center of thought doesn't necessarily have to reside in the body. In the case of Golem, the self is clearly resided in the mainframe and operated the body remotely. Since a self-aware robot could exist this way, he theorized, what could prevent humans from doing the same? If humans are actually being controlled by an outside force, then is there actually anything such as free will? Yup. I think I mentioned it already, but it's very similar to what Lotus mentioned before in the... What was that room? The laboratory in 999. Wound! Okay, that's just the details of the wound. Same thing. Oh. Ew, what elasticity of the skin? Jeez, oh my gosh. Coroner. Not to be confused with a coroner is a government official who assists law enforcement by investigating the causes of death and dealing with the paperwork and logistics surrounding corpses. It can also be used colloquially to refer to someone who performs these duties, whether or not they actually are employed by the government. You know, I wonder if Luna is actually a coroner, not a doctor. I don't know, because it did seem like she was not being entirely truthful about her medical knowledge. Autopsy. A post-mortem surgery that examines a body in detail to determine the cause of death and evaluate any diseases or injuries that might be present. It is also super gross. You know, when I first learned that word, I thought it said autospy. Luminal mixture. An organic compound with the chemical formula that when mixed with a hydroxide salt and hydrogen peroxide, it will glow blue when it comes into contact with blood and certain other substances. This property has made it a useful tool in criminal investigations, where it can reveal blood stains that have been cleaned up. Keep this in mind the next time you're contemplating how to deal with the neighbors listening to death metal at 3 in the morning. Bracelet Sue. At first glance, Kei's bracelet seems to be different from the others. Specifically, it appears to be attached to his suit. Although the design is slightly different, it is not a part of his suit. The bracelet is attached directly to his wrist, with the face looking out through a hole in his armor. Just like the other bracelets, it will only come off when he escapes, or when his heart stops beating. Okay. You know how earlier we were reading Bracelet 1? It mentioned that if you try to break it, that will be considered a violation of the rules. But in that one route where we saw Dio's body in the pod, it was broken. I think Phi, K, and Sigma decided that the cause of death was asphyxiation though. So I guess he died. The bracelet came off and then somebody came and broke it on purpose, as opposed to him trying to force it off himself and then getting drugged and then dying because of that. Generalized amnesia. A memory condition where the sufferer retains knowledge such as language, social common sense, and so on. But memories of their own past and personality disappear. Its cause is usually psychological, but in rare cases, it can be caused by serious head trauma. Kei suggested that an extremely painful breakup might have been the cause of his condition, but generalized amnesia usually requires a much more powerful trigger than breaking up with someone. In fact, a painful breakup often has the opposite effect. You want desperately to forget, but find that to be impossible, which leads to all sorts of other mental disorders. Or so the person sitting behind me says. Who is writing this? Floor B graffiti. Memento Mori, if the 9th lion ate the sun. It's written in some sort of weird paint. Memento Mori means remember death. 9th clearly refers to 9th, but seems to have been spelled wrong, likely on purpose. Why? Perhaps it's an anagram like the words on the wall in the Floor A warehouse. If it is, what does this one mean? Nothing we didn't know already, but the golem thing talking about how if you take away the E, it turns into death. That was kind of interesting. Hourglass. The hourglass displayed in the background, that's so meta, is actually a 4-second timer. Not much practical use except for maybe really impatient people. If you were at a restaurant waiting for your food to come out, for instance, hey, how long are you gonna make me wait? I've already flipped this hourglass 100 times. Technically, 100 times would only be 400 seconds, which is 6 minutes and 40 seconds, but saying 100 times is much more dramatic, and therefore much more likely to get a desirable response from the waitstaff. Thanks for the tips. Gentle points? Seriously? These are a measure of how much of a gentleman you are. Somewhere deep in the United Kingdom is an organization that tracks all gentlemen, determining their caliber based off an ancient and Byzantine collection of rules and guidelines. Every year during the spring, a representative of this organization conducts a cursory investigation of each member's behavior, or at least appears to, and then awards gentle points based on what they saw. The following formula is used: old ladies escorted across the street times top hats owned. That's 1 for Dio, times puzzles solved, times money given to gentleman tracking organization. Equals total gentle points. Oh, I wonder how much Dio has with this formula. Might be 0 given the first variable here. Okay, 9th is something that I was recommended to not read. And multiple people have been telling me what to read and not read. I'm going to err on the side of caution here, just in case, because if we get spoiled, we can't take it back. Floor B hallway locks. Several of the hallways on Floor B use special locks, indicated on the map by arrows. On the far side of each arrow is a lever. Pulling these levers will unlock the locks. Once this has been done, you can explore the entire area at your leisure. Oh, okay. Why is that necessary? I'm not too sure why. Okay. Maybe they want us to explore certain areas first and then others? Principle of Causality was one that I was also recommended to not read. Knox's 10 Commandments. Ronald Knox, a mystery writer from the UK, published the following as his rules for writing a mystery novel. Number 1. The criminal must be mentioned early on. Number 2. All supernatural or preternatural agencies are ruled out. Well, I feel like Zero Escape fails this one already. The whole glycerin thing. Number 3. No more than one secret room or passage. Number 4. No hitherto undiscovered poisons may be used, nor any appliance which will need a long scientific explanation. Number 5. No one with extrasensory perception or similar powers can appear. Number 6. No accident must ever help the detective, nor must he ever have an unaccountable intuition which proves to be right. Number 7. The detective must not commit the crime. I feel like quite a few games fail this one. Number 8. The detective must declare any clues he may discover. Number 9. The stupid friend of the detective, the Watson, must conceal nothing from the reader. Number 10. Twin brothers and doubles generally must not appear unannounced. This isn't actually related to anything we've seen in the game so far, so I wonder why they've given this to me. It almost makes me think that they've given me this list here to show me that this game will break all of them later on. Because I can't see Virtue's Last Reward following all of these, or even any of these. We'll see, we'll see. And that's it. That's it for the gold files right now. And well, we don't have it right now, so it's not a problem. But apparently, something on page 12 is really spoilery once we get it, because even the title is a spoiler. So I imagine that we actually won't be able to read anything from pages 12 and on from now on until the end of the game, because I can't skip past page 12 to read the other pages. So yeah, from now on, the next time we read gold files again, maybe at the end of the next major route, I'm probably only going to read up to page 11 then. Not too big of a problem, I don't think. Yeah, okay. So with that said, I think we can go back to our flowchart and do something heinous, such as... Nope, not here. Here. Going back to the first round of the AB game, but this time, listening to Phi and choosing Betray. Let's go.